Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jose Hernandez Tavares, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about Elon Musk's big bets. This, of course, is one of the 5 very interesting cases that we covered this semester, and the question here today is the future of the Musk organization at risk? And we're going to determine that by analyzing and examining some of the ventures and projects that Elon Musk has taken on over the years and really assessing his strategy behind things like the Solar City merger, the creation of the Gigafactory, what's going on with Tesla, what's the strategy behind SpaceX. All of these things are going to get delved into, but before we do, I'd like to get you started with a bit of an introduction. Okay, so to start with a bit of an introduction, we can think of the Musk organization as this huge empire characterized by an insatiable desire for innovation and an insatiable desire for sustainable energy production. And yes, the organization has experienced great success in the past, but I believe it's the nature of their ventures and projects that really garners a lot of questions from the general public and investors alike who are thinking, hey, is this stuff really possible? I mean, Tesla and the Musk organization are always looking to exceed the limits of human capabilities and push the boundaries of technological capabilities. And time again, Elon Musk has shown that yes, this stuff is very possible. But despite the past success, there's a lot of present and future decisions that are just as critical for the Musk organization. And so today we're going to determine how that Musk organization should proceed and if their present and future success is guaranteed. And so the purpose of this presentation is to really formulate our own opinions on the Musk organization, given their past decisions, given their present goals, and really see if the future is secure. And so we begin with the Solar City merger. Was this merger logical? Did it make sense? If I was a board member of Tesla, would I have voted for the Solar City merger? And my answer is yes. And here's why. Well, there already exists a great level of familiarity between the Musk organization and Solar City, given Elon Musk's standing as a large shareholder and as a board member. And so this transition during this merger is going to be very seamless and fluid. It's not going to really experience a lot of speed bumps, right? And so while opponents might say that Solar City is associated with a lot of debt and that this was just a bailout action by Tesla, given the ties between them, that could hold some merit. But I believe there's a lot more to this merger. I believe Solar City really gives Tesla this room for growth and this great upside, considering that solar panels and solar devices, this kind of technology is really unexplored. It's really taboo and niche, right? Other alternatives for energy production that are more popular are like water and wind turbines, but this solar energy is, again, really unexplored. And so I think this allows Tesla some room to navigate, and they're already familiar with the production technology and the model and all that. And so this allows them to really navigate into a new market that's largely unexplored and which a lot of competition is not necessarily there, right? And so this is going to allow Tesla to obtain a new level of versatility, a new level of reach, considering they seem to kind of be this proverbial tree that's really branching out in different directions. And this just seems to be that other branch. And so I think the Solar City merger is going to provide for a lot of new opportunities, a lot of new goals and challenges that Tesla is going to be open to in the future, and investors are going to catch on sooner or later. To continue, here is a really interesting graphic that I came across that really just exemplifies this idea that Solar City offers Tesla a lot more than just a boatload of debt. As we can see here, Solar City is really a complement to Tesla, as opposed to just being an unnecessary supplement. We can see that during this logistic process of manufacturing, generation, distribution, and ultimately consumption, Solar City is really going to be sufficient where Tesla may be insufficient, right? And this is a great business model to have because now Tesla is expanding into this new market with greater abilities. It's not going to be limited by its kind of naive or inexperienced capabilities. Right now they have Solar City, who has been there and done that in this market. Next, we move on to assessing the strategy behind the Gigafactory. Here in this Tesla Gigafactory announcement, we can see that 50 gigawatt hours in annual battery production by 2020 should have been enough to power 500,000 Tesla cars. This sheer volume is just impressive, but is the project worth undertaking given the extensive cost associated with it? We're going to make a determination for ourselves by looking at some pros and cons. To start with the pros, there are many benefits to be had from vertical integration. Vertical integration is going to allow Tesla to really eliminate that intermediary, really eliminate that middleman. And in doing so, they're going to be able to lower the average total cost of production. By lowering the average total cost of production, they're going to be able to obtain economies of scale, a term that we hear a lot about in our economics and finance classes, and for good reason. Economies of scale is very desirable for a company or a firm. Why? Because lowering the average total cost of production is going to enable a firm to really increase their profit margins by potentially decreasing prices and acquiring or attracting more customers. In addition, Tesla is going to be able to work with Panasonic, who's a behemoth in its own right. And so this opportunity to build a relationship with a company like Panasonic can really open doors for Tesla down the road. Maybe there's an acquisition in store for Tesla. Now, despite that, the advent of the Gigafactory would really be another ruby in the great empire that the Musk organization is continuing to become. Right now, there's going to be opponents who are going to look at that upfront cost, that daunting upfront cost, and say, wait a minute, right? There's going to be people who say, hey, does this mean we're a battery production company now? Do we still produce automobiles? There's going to be a question of identity for Tesla, right? And that could be an issue. There's going to be people who say, hey, there's a lot of looming technologies out there that could really provide for a threat here, considering that lithium batteries are really outdated, right? Is this a short-term play, or is this really the long-term play that we think it is? Now, in my humble opinion, I'd like to offer praise to Elon Musk, considering his strategy for the Gigafactory. I think this vertical integration model is really going to allow Tesla to consolidate its ventures into one path, one direction. And that's really going to allow them to experience this economies of scale and make a lot of profits while continuing to grow healthily down the road. Here is a supplemental graphic regarding the Gigafactory plans, which I mentioned earlier, I believe are just utterly impressive. Here we see that the planned 2020 Gigafactory production was set to exceed the 2013 global production for batteries. And that's just insane. It almost seems impossible, as is characteristic of many of Musk's ventures. And so I think that the Gigafactory is a great fit. It's really representative of the ambition that the Musk organization tends to operate with. Right? And so I see the Gigafactory as a great opportunity for the Musk organization moving forward as they continue to just open eyes in the most unimaginable ways. In continuation, we look at the strategy for Tesla. Should Elon Musk push Tesla to become a large auto company? Or perhaps he should pivot and look to push it to become a large battery company or even a sustainable energy company? To me, Tesla cars really exemplify a little bit of each potential mold. Considering they are Tesla cars, the auto company makes sense. Considering the battery technology used within the cars, the battery company makes sense. And then considering that the whole idea behind the Tesla car is to effectively reduce the carbon footprint, suggests that the sustainable energy company also makes sense. However, there's only one potential mold that, in my opinion, justifies the merger with SolarCity and the advent of the Gigafactory. And to me, that's the sustainable energy company. If Tesla was effectively a sustainable energy company, that would really suggest that the SolarCity merger makes sense, right? They have this new solar technology where they can explore the solar market, right? That's sustainable energy. Now the Gigafactory, this large electrical battery production, that's sustainable energy. And then the Tesla cars would really just be an extension of this whole idea of producing vehicles, producing products that are concurrent with the sustainable energy motto or the sustainable energy kind of advent and innovation. Now, Tesla becoming a sustainable energy company is really just my opinion, my take on it. But Tesla can effectively become any kind of company. It can be pulled in any direction. And we see the scale icon here kind of mimicking that, right? The scale can tip in any direction. And similarly, Tesla has the possibility to tip in any direction. And I think that's just a product of the fluid and seamless management between Tesla, SpaceX, SolarCity, right? We see that Elon Musk is the board chair of Tesla and SolarCity. He's the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, and he's the largest shareholder of all three companies. And so resources can kind of be freely allocated between the companies because Elon Musk has that kind of influence on all three ventures. And so I think it's just a wait and see process. There's a lot of question marks kind of surrounding the direction of Tesla, but really in the future, 5 years down the road, the Tesla T, the famous Tesla T, can really stand for anything. And lastly, the last venture we're going to talk about today is SpaceX. Is SpaceX appealing or is it appalling? I guess what I'm trying to say is SpaceX the next big thing, or is it just this really big inefficiency occupying nothing but space and resources for the Musk organization? To me, SpaceX seems to be more of a desire than a necessity for the organization. It seems to be one of Elon Musk's indulgences as opposed to one of his more strategic endeavors. In fact, if it was up to me, SpaceX would have to undergo dramatic change. I would even consider scrapping the entire procedure. But maybe that's too abrasive. So perhaps reinventing SpaceX is the way to go. Perhaps making SpaceX a sustainable space travel company as opposed to a commercialization of space travel company is the way to go. I think that would promote more congruency, more compatibility between SpaceX and the rest of the Musk organization's endeavors, right? Because right now, SpaceX seems to be more of an outlier than anything. Finally, after all this analysis, we arrive at this crossroads. What should we suggest that the great Elon Musk do? Should he continue to shoot for Mars? Should he stay the course but take on nothing new? Or should he drastically just retrench and really narrow his focus? And here is what I think. In retrospect, I think that Elon Musk should stay the course but take on nothing new. I think he should stay the course because, for one, the Musk organization has amassed immense financial and moral support. And so they can afford to dream big. They can afford to be this ambitious. And so why not do so now that they have the support from the general public and from investors alike? Now, another reason why I say they should stay the course is this vertical integration strategy. I think that this vertical integration strategy is just genius. And so I would love to see Tesla and the Musk organization really reap the rewards of consolidating their ventures and obtaining economies of scale. It would be better for them, who are going to experience higher profit margins, and better for us, the customers, who are going to experience better prices. Moreover, I think that the potential for growth and the upside of these projects and ventures are just extraordinary. And so the idea of sunk cost, which many opponents use to knock these ventures, should just be ignored as invalid. Okay? But I also acknowledge that the Musk organization should take on nothing new. And here's why. Well, SpaceX is already very troublesome. And while it is fixable, if they are going to fix it, it's going to take time and allocation of resources. And so the allocation of resources should go into improving the current ventures as opposed to taking on new ventures. And is Solar City the Gigafactory advent? Is Tesla and SpaceX not more than enough for the Musk organization? I think so. So they should stay the course. The Musk organization should stay the course, but take on nothing new. And finally, we have come to the end of this presentation. I just want to say thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. It's been a pleasure to present for you all today. And it's been a great pleasure to learn from you, Professor Stara. And I've had so much fun making this presentation. I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens with the Musk organization 5 to 10 years down the road. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you and have a great day.